The Tigers split a doubleheader with the Pirates in what ended up being a wild night at Comerica Park and one of the longest days of baseball you can possibly really have. We'll talk about that and more all today on Locked On Tigers.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Tigers. I'm, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Friday, June 20th, 2025. Thank you so much for making Locked On Tigers your first listen. Every single day, we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Welcome in. Welcome all. Happy Friday, everybody. The Tigers kick off a 3-game weekend series against the Tampa Bay Rays today, Friday, as you are listening to this. We will preview that series at the end of the show. Today, we will talk about the doubleheader that was split by the Pirates and the Tigers on Thursday. I was going to say Thursday evening, but it started, at like 1 o'clock, then a rain delay, then a ball game, then the end of that ball game, then the start of a second ball game, then a rain delay, and then the end of the ball game, and it went into extra innings. I think everybody's tired. I can't even imagine, the players and the media and the, broadcast team, et cetera, the people that were, boots on ground and were a part of it. A very, very, very long day at the ballpark, resulting in the Tigers going 1-1. First thought is honestly really that, there were a lot of emotions in game two. I think, I don't know, maybe everybody's just tired or had a lot to drink or something because they were, at the ballpark all day. I don't know. But really, I'm finding it hard for me to get super upset about splitting. I say this all the time on this show. I really expect to split most doubleheaders with a few exceptions. One of those exceptions is not when Paul Skenes is starting one of the games for the opposing team. That does not fall under the umbrella of exceptions to that rule. So I understand they came back. I understand that expectations, change mid-game, change mid-season, et cetera, et cetera. I get it. And if you are, frustrated at the end of that game, so be it. But this was, again, a doubleheader with 2 rain delays, an entire day event. It was honestly beautiful. It is kind of what baseball is all about, right? You're just hanging out at the park until the games end, and you're just there for as long as needs to be. But game 1 was a good win. They won handily. Game 2 was a great baseball game, went into extra innings. The Tigers just didn't come out on top. Well, again, we'll talk about kind of all the ins and outs and break down why. But I don't know. We'll take it. It's a series win. I'm really not losing sleep over it. Let's start with what went right. Okay, I don't know how to do I start with stuff on the days that you split a doubleheader? That it kind of defies our rules here. But we're going to start with what went right because I think more went right than went wrong. I want to start by giving a shout out to Keiter Montero, man. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 1 home run against. He has a 4.02 ERA. For all of the heat that I've seen him catch online, and for all the people that have been talking mad smack about Keiter Montero, I cannot stress this enough. This dude is literally in the minor leagues if the rotation is fully healthy. He is an organizational depth starting pitcher. He has been called up and is pitching 4 ERA baseball and giving you innings. 29 other teams would kill for an organizational depth starter to have a 4 ERA every time he goes out there. The stuff is good. He just gives up a lot of home runs because he hangs like 3 breaking balls a game. And they are just hung. Like that, I can't even, the home run he gave up in this one, that my goodness, that was the definition of a hanging breaking ball. But the fastball was working really well. The sinker was working incredibly well. I was really impressed with that. So, yeah, man, like he's not perfect. No, he's going to give up a lot of homers. Yeah, he's going to get rocked sometimes. He's going to have bad outings. He has a 4.02 ERA and started off the season in Toledo's rotation, man. That's what organizational depth is all about. That's what pitching depth is all about. So tip of the cap to Cater Montero. I think offensively, we'll talk plenty more about pitching still. Don't get me wrong. But I think offensively, the approach against both starting pitchers is something I was so pleased with in this ball game. Andrew Heaney and obviously Paul Skenes, the 2 starters for Pittsburgh, they made both of them work, right? In both games, they were not going to give away at-bats. 1 through 9 in the order, made them work. Skenes obviously still ends up going 6 innings, but you score off of Paul Skenes. That in its own right is impressive these days. 2 earned runs in 6 innings off of him, but his pitch count was over 100, and he almost didn't make it out of the 6th inning, right? Like he was very close to, he was probably a batter away from getting pulled there from Donnie Kelly, baby. So, yeah, man, like I think that is something that the Tigers offense earlier in the year, when they were firing on all cylinders, the first month and a half-ish of the season, that was something they were so good at. And that's why their offensive numbers were so great and were like legitimately among some of the best in baseball. Obviously they've come down a lot since then, but that's why. We talked about on the show all the time. They consistently knocked starting pitchers out of ball games early and just made the starter and the bullpen sweat and made for really tough managerial decisions from the other dugout. And I think they did that, again, Skenes is Skenes. Like he still goes 6 innings of 2-run ball. He still has a great outing, and whatnot. But if you would have told me, hey, Paul Skenes is only going to go 6 and you're going to be down 2 runs when he leaves the ball game, I would have taken that 10 times out of 10. Are you kidding? Yeah. Give me 3 innings to score 2 runs against the Pittsburgh Pirates bullpen, which actually has some dogs in it to their credit. And then Andrew Heaney goes 4 innings, 3 walks, 8 hits, 7 earned runs. Absolutely teed off on him. Everything was pretty much either a walk or a hard hit ball. So, yeah, I think that the game plan they had against both starting pitchers was unbelievably impressive. In terms of individual players, Gleyber Torres had an incredible day in both games. And like if he's not the starting second baseman at the All-Star game, what are we doing? Like he not only deserves to be an all-star, he deserves to be the American League starting second baseman for the and again, there's still some time left. There's still plenty of time until the All-Star game, whatever. Who knows what can happen from now until then. But if the All-Star game was tomorrow, nobody else deserves it more. Just such impressive at-bats every time he's in the box. And driving the baseball a little bit more lately. You're seeing some more extra base hits than you were earlier in the year. Fantastic. I want to give a huge shout out to Jahmai Jones. Okay, we'll do that right after this. First, though, got to talk to you all about our friends over at Wonderful Pistachios. If you're looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious, crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts on the market. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, as you all well know by now, I absolutely love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days. Whether I'm snacking at my desk, I'm on a road trip, or just need a quick protein boost, they're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, well, the in-shell options are obviously a classic favorite as well. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. That really is the best line in advertising. I'm convinced. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Segment 2, Locked On Tigers. Appreciate you all so much for tuning in, as always, making us your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day, and we will be back on Monday recapping this 3-game set against the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa. Like I said, we'll preview that at the end. Let's talk about the offense. We're talking about Jahmai Jones. I teased before the break. On base 3 times in this ball game, man. I know that some people, I mean, I've been critical of some of his at bats, right? And I know that some people were kind of skeptical of how, him being that left-handed pitcher is on the mound, platoon, like DH, batting second, like all of these factors was kind of going to play out. And he, to his credit, has done really well. He has kept his head above water and really had some solid at-bats in there. I don't need to see him take an at-bat against a right-handed pitcher really the rest of the season. But if he wants to be like the new version of Andy Ibanez, where he just goes in there and gets his hacks against lefties and produces, then so be it, man. He's been really good. And in this game, he had, was it 1 hit and 2 walks or 2 hits and 1 walk? Either way, he got on base on all 3 of his plate appearances in game 1. So a ton of credit. Zach McKinstry with another solid day defensively and offensively. Obviously goes big fly there kind of when the game was already over. But even before that, put together some really solid at-bats, I thought. Riley Greene, obviously last out in the last game. I think if he's like half a second, maybe not even a third of a second earlier on that ball's probably into orbit. And, the Tigers, 2 outs, nobody on, still losing in that situation. The odds and the stats would tell you that they probably still don't win. But either way, I think his at-bats throughout the day were much improved from what we had been seeing, a week or so ago. And he's been better just in general lately, I'd say over the last week and a half. But had a few hits on the day, got him off his feet and had him DHing in game 2 and had 4 RBIs in the first 2 innings of game 1. Like that is the kind of difference maker that he is. Now, obviously the center fielder, dives for a ball, it goes over his head, whatever. But, still, that was a hit either way. He's getting hits and getting sack flies and whatnot. The Tigers in general had a ton of sack flies. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I've been a lot more impressed with his plate appearances lately. Colt Keith, I thought, had some of the best at-bats on the team in game 2. And the home run that he hit was legitimately one of the most unbelievable home runs I have maybe ever seen. And that is not like baseball. It's hard to say that without it being like a hyperbole, right? Like baseball's been around for so long and we've seen so much and so many games have been played. We've seen a lot of weird stuff in baseball. And I'm sure that technically someone has done, hit a ball the opposite way for a home run that's up at their eyes before. But that is once in a blue moon, man. That does not happen very often. And that is one of the craziest displays of just like muscling a ball out that I've seen in quite some time. Ball was at his eyes and it was the opposite way. And watching it, it was kind of like, okay, like he smacked that. And at first I thought it was going to be foul. I was like, there's no way that's a fair ball. And I was like, oh, outfielder's making a run at it. Oh, Colt's leaving the batter's box. Oh, like what is happening? Oh, like surely he'll catch it. Then it just kept going and going and going. It just never seemed to drop. And it tied a ball game too. So on the season, he's now hitting 249 with a 741 OPS. That is an above league average hitter, despite the fact that he was terrible for the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season. In May, his OPS was 839. And now after today, his June OPS is probably going to be in the 800s as well as in the 700s going into this ball game. So fantastic day at the office. Like I said, I thought his at-bats the entire game were actually really, really impressive. Just his decision-making on what to swing at and what not to, I've always liked. It's just literally a matter of consistently lifting and driving the baseball, which even his outs, he did that. He had a ball 400 feet to dead center in the 10th inning there. whatever it was, the second out of the inning in game 2. Like he was consistently driving and lifting the baseball. He seemed a little bit more confident today, and I'm hoping that's just a sign of things to come because Colt Keith has the ceiling to be a really special hitter if he puts it all together. Parker Meadows, and he kind of has, again, small sample, puts it together over the course of a full season, I guess is my point. I don't want to discredit what he's done over the last 6 weeks. Parker Meadows has a hit and a walk in game 1, gets off his feet in game 2. Don't mind him not getting the start or not getting an opportunity really in game 2. Just really glad to see him take some solid at-bats in game 1, man. Get on base a couple of times, a nice, easy swing for a hit the opposite way, draws a walk, and that was a 4-pitch walk, and it was, Andrew Heaney was spraying the ball all over the place, but we'll take it. We'll take it. He's such a valuable asset and is so important to this team, so it's important for him to get going. Javi's defense at shortstop, he maybe didn't have a single play that was but he had a handful of just such impressive plays that he made look so easy, and he made them look so easy that I don't even think they'll get recognized as good or impressive plays. That's how easy he actually made them look. So I just want to make sure he got his credit for looking really solid at short. Colt Keith at third base made a couple of nice plays. That one where he threw it down to Torque had to keep his big toe on the bag to get the out. That was kind of close, but I didn't think Colt looked overwhelmed over there or oh, wow, he should not be at third base right now. I don't think he looked bad, really. The range will be I don't know, I guess the word is issue, a question mark, we'll say, going forward. We'll see how much, left and horizontal, movement he kind of has, but I don't know. I didn't think he looked bad over there. We'll see what happens. The bullpen was absolutely stellar in both of these games. You're thinking, well, Brant Herter, we'll talk about him. Carlos Hernandez makes his Tigers debut, goes over an inning, shutout ball. Dylan Smith, 2 innings, shutout ball. Matt Gage, I think 2/3 of an inning, shutout ball. Tommy Kahnle, 1 inning, shutout ball. Will Vest, shutout ball, 3 strikeouts in 1 inning. Are you one of those? This is another one we talked about, batting around in the lineup. The other one similar is striking out the side, facing 3 batters and striking them all out, or is striking out the side just getting 3 strikeouts in an inning. And if you give up some hits along the way, you still strike out the side because every out is a strikeout. Let me know, because that's also a commonly debated thing in baseball. Tarek Skubal goes 5 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. People, again, we need to not reactionary. Okay. I saw some of the most ridiculous takes I've ever seen in my life. With Tarek Skubal, he's fine, dude. Man, maybe it's legitimately, maybe it is because it's been so long since the Tigers have been good that we as a fan base have forgotten that you do in fact lose games and you don't Maddox every single start. That's impossible and never going to happen. So maybe it's just that, but he's fine. If as bad as it gets is about 6 innings of 2-run ball, he's still going to win Cy Young and be the best pitcher on the planet. If that's as bad as it gets. Okay. He's fine. It was pouring rain the first 2.5 innings he was on the mound. He could barely grip the baseball. Almost all of his walks came during the downpour at the start of the game. I don't know. I have no issue with, I don't know why people got so riled up about his performance. It wasn't even that crazy. And he said, it's not to my standards. I'm sure it's not, but that doesn't mean it's bad. He's fine. Okay. He's fine. An out away from a quality start. What went wrong? Let's talk about that right after this. Got a talk deal today about our friends over at FanDuel. Yes, our good friends over at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night is delivering highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never a better time to get in on the action. NBA Finals. Game 6 was on Thursday night. The Pacers, I guess I'm recording this technically during the fourth quarter, okay? Secrets out. But like they're up 30 going into the fourth. They better not lose. So we'll have a game 7 to get in on the action over at FanDuel with. Which players are going to show up? You got the MVP on one side. You have Tyrese Halliburton, obviously the moment, as they're calling him. Not sure how I feel about that nickname. We'll see if he even plays. Pascal Siakam. There's a lot of great players in this series. Chet Holmgren, et cetera, et cetera. And if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to get in on the action and sign up because you can head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If that bet wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. So make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Third and final segment of Locked On Tigers. Appreciate you all greatly for tuning in, as always. Let's talk about what went wrong. Honestly, not a ton. And like the fact that I can say that after a split of a doubleheader, I think is a great thing. Tyler Holton, certainly 1 1/3, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, 1 strikeout, 2 home runs against. His ERA is now 4.72 on the season. It's rough, man. It's real rough because the stuff is the same as it's always been. The velocity's not a lot different. The movement's not a lot different. His stuff is like the sinker is still good. The fastball is still good. The cutter is still excellent in terms of, again, shape and movement and profile and whatnot. He is just serving up just absolute pinatas down the middle. Like I can't even describe how much every single pitch he threw in this outing was right down the middle. Even more so than the home runs. Like, seriously, go rewatch the outing. It wasn't even like, oh, like he just threw 2 bad pitches. No, the entire outing, he was just lobbing up pitches right down the middle. And he does not have the velocity in today's day and age of baseball and how it's played to be able to afford, 91, 92 down the middle to major league hitters. And he got absolutely rocked. And that's been the issue all year. If there's adjustments to be made and you think that you can salve it, because like in theory, if he can start hitting his spots again, then he goes back to being a reliever that literally got MVP votes last year and has been maybe one of the most valuable relievers in baseball over the last 2 seasons. But that's an if. That's if the command gets better. If it doesn't, then you have a guy throwing 91 down the middle. And that's going to look a lot like it did today. So something's got to give there. I'm sure going to be a lot of discourse online every time he goes out and pitches just about kind of what to possibly do with him. I don't think the Tigers are like going to move on from him, tomorrow or anything. But we'll see. We'll see. Certainly a rough patch. Certainly not a great season. Has not been good since the playoffs last year. And hopefully he can make said adjustment. The 10th inning in general didn't go well, obviously. I'll be real with you. I don't even think Brant Herter pitched like terribly. I know that some people scoff at that. That was like the most infuriating offensive production ever. Go rewatch that inning. They hit 75 ground balls and all of them just found holes, man. Like seriously, like that was it. And they weren't even like super hard hit. It's not like he was giving up, 110 mile an hour ground balls that were smoked. Like, no, they were just like routine grounders that just found gaps. Every single one somehow for some reason. And like you maybe miss getting a guy out at home by like a fraction of a second. Obviously AJ's ejected. The reason why he's ejected is because you are not allowed to argue a replay review. So clearly AJ had a point to make, and he was like, I'm going to say what I have to say. I'm going to make my point. They're going to toss me, and I know that. And he walked out there and immediately said, I know, and then continued to talk. So either he had a dinner reservation with his family, or he just wanted to kind of say his piece and knew that it was going to be the end of the night either way. So Yeah, and like in terms of the play itself, man, the view, the first angle they showed, and the angle they showed at the ballpark, I mean, it looked like he was super out. Then they show the angle, from behind Jake Rogers, and I don't think it is as clear. I don't know. I think that's probably a situation where whatever the call on the field would have been, probably would have just stood, and they just determined it wasn't inconclusive evidence. I don't know. I New York has a billion different camera views. We don't have. We have to hear that spiel every time. I was frustrated. I was just as frustrated as everybody else. But who knows, man? They gave up 3 runs after that as well. Like, I don't know. I have a hard time being as mad as I think some people were about that play specifically, but I do share the frustration. And that first replay certainly looked like he got him, but that's what they called. So ended up being an 8-4 final. Just completely got away from him. And like the Brant Hurta thing, I'm not trying to make it sound like it was like a perfect outing or that he was dotting or anything. That is why the Tigers need to acquire a swing and miss reliever at the deadline. Was right there. There's your perfect reason why. Because you have the Manfred runner means you can get 3 flyouts in a row and give up a run. You can give up 3 groundouts in a row and give up a run, right? It's BS. I hate it. Okay. I I don't know how else to word that. Like I'm sorry, but like I hate it, and most baseball fans hate it. I haven't met anybody that's a huge fan of it, but like that's how the regular season works. You got to play to it. You got to, again, as I quote all the time, as Billy Beane says in the movie Moneyball, as Brad Pitt says, adapt or die. Like you got to figure it out. And they don't have a reliable swing and miss guy right now outside of maybe Will Vest, and they already used him in order to get to extra innings. So, like outside of that's really it in terms of what went wrong. Like I thought this was a pretty well played, especially for how long of a day it was. I thought everybody did pretty well. Torkelson, not a great box score, but had 2 like 100+ mile an hour, line outs. Like still had an RBI. Like he's fine. He was still, I think, seeing the ball pretty well. Trey Sweeney had a big hit. He's been struggling a lot lately. Jake Rogers had a hit off Paul Skenes and then scored. Like, I don't know. Like even the people that maybe have been struggling this year did pretty well at some point across the doubleheader, and you were in a position to sweep the Pirates and just kind of collapse there in extra innings. 4 sack flies in a game. Crazy. I think the Tigers said that's only happened like one other time in Tigers history, or like in the last 70 years. I don't know. There's a lot of stipulations there. A lot of sacrifice flies, though. A lot of sacrifice flies in game 1. 4 in a game is wild. Dylan Smith, as we mentioned earlier, called up, was the 27th man. He'll almost certainly get sent back down right after or before the team goes to Tampa or whatnot, but you're allowed to have an extra roster spot on a doubleheader day. So he is the 27th man. The rain delay, I have to give all the credit in the world to FanDuel Sports Network, everybody involved, the people, the producers, the people in the truck, the people that are talking to the announcers in the air, the people that are finding stats and whatnot. But Johnny Kane, Jason Benetti, Andy Dirks, Daniela Bruce, like the fact that those 3 guys were able to just sit. Like I tweeted this out, but do you remember when it was Fox Sports Detroit and growing up, for me, when I was growing up, if there was a rain delay, you'd watch some like awful documentary from 30 years ago that no one cared about, and it was just like a rerun, or like you'd watch like the World Series of Poker from 6 years ago, and like they would just put on some random thing. The fact that they were able to just sit and basically have a live podcast, like they were just 3 dudes just talking shop, just talking about anything, like nonsense. And it was so entertaining. And I just give them all the credit in the world. The talent and the people behind the camera over at, I know people like don't like FanDuel Sports Network because of like the app. That's different than the people that are working in Detroit at Comerica Park. Those people are unbelievably talented and great and deserve all the credit in the world. So I just want to tip of the cap to them for, making a rain delay like entertaining. because we've really, even in like the previous glory days, never really had that. And social media has changed that too. Obviously, they were answering fan questions or whatnot. Just really cool. Kind of a wild game too, like at the ending to it as well. You had a reliever for the Pirates like throwing a slap at a fan from the bullpen, like trying to like jump up and slap a fan. That was crazy. You had Tommy Pham, who's gotten in a lot of altercations over the years. Getting into it with a group of fans and then getting them kicked out of the game from right behind home plate. Like you had Don Kelly almost getting ejected. You had AJ Hinch did get ejected. Like just a lot of, I think people were just tired and cranky. That's what my mom would tell me, at least. Like maybe just like take a nap or go to bed and maybe we wouldn't be upset, but like a long day. And by the end of it, I think everyone might have just been running on fumes and wanted to get out of there. Cause, and honestly, the Don Kelly situation, I don't blame him. I don't blame DKB for that at all, actually. Now, it's not also in the same breath, it's not really the umpire's fault. You're not allowed to, if it's not raining, just like sit there and be like, hey, we're just not going to play because rain is coming. That's not the rule. There is literally a rule that you have to play until you can't. You can't just guess on the weather or like try to, give a team like an advantage, quote unquote, in that regard. So like it's not really the umpire's fault, but in the same breath, I completely understand Don Kelly's frustration, and I really kind of get why he was as mad as he was. You burn through one of your best relievers in that situation, and then you're not going to use them on the other end of an hour rain delay, obviously. Only other thing I got is just like Paul Skenes is really good, really fun to watch him up close and kind of I wasn't at the ballpark, not like literally in person, but watch him under a close eye. Try to catch almost all of his starts if I can, but obviously if the Tigers played during that, then that's hard to do. So just cool to watch him pitch, man. He's unbelievable, generational talent, going to be really good for a long time. And I don't think anyone's worried about his future in baseball. Last thing before we get to a preview, Reese Olson threw for Toledo on Thursday night and threw the changeup. Beautiful. Okay. The ring finger's been bothering him. That's why he hasn't pitched for the Tigers in whatever a month it is now. He's been on the injured list. And the pitch that he has not been able to consistently throw is the changeup. He threw it in this outing, got a strikeout on it. Tigers minor league report put something out there about that. So that's a good sign. 2 thumbs up there. Tigers play the Tampa Bay Rays this weekend. At the time of this recording, they're 41-33, so well above 500. Been a pretty solid year for Tampa, despite the fact that they're playing at a spring training facility. They're playing at Steinbrenner Field outdoors. The Tampa Bay Rays are playing outdoors. They had their first rain out in franchise history earlier this season. Welcome to the club. So pitching matchups, you have Jack Flaherty against Shane Baz. You have Sir Gibson Long against Ryan Pepio, and then you have Casey Mize against Zach Liddell. Pepio's has legitimately some of the best stuff in baseball. He was in like dark horse AL Cy Young candidate going into the season. A lot of people, he was, somebody that like sports bettors really liked kind of backing. He's disgusting. He's had a really solid year, not maybe as good as people thought, but like low 3, around 3 ERA. Can get a swing and miss really whenever he wants, has disgusting stuff. So Sawyer Gibson Long going up against that is going to be a tall task. And like the thing with the Rays, they're always going to have some like demons in the bullpen, right? Like and like Zach Liddell's had a solid year. Shane Baz has good stuff, hasn't really put it all together. He's got an ERA over 4, I want to say, but like has good stuff as well. Like they just have stuff out of all of their arms. And so it's going to be a test for this Tigers offense that we are kind of hoping to see more out of over the last couple of weeks. This is not a walk in the park. And there's a reason why the Detroit Tigers, why the Tampa Bay Rays are, again, comfortably over 500. This is a good baseball team, and you're on the road. So, and the thing I'm really most worried about is just them laying an absolute egg in game 1. Because Thursday was so long, man. That is so long. Then you're getting on a plane, you're going to Tampa. I worry that, and I wouldn't even really blame them. I worry about them laying an egg in game 1. So come out, score early, put it in Flaherty's hands, and hopefully he can go through a Rays offense that, while not like overpowering, is, it's always patchwork with the Rays. They always just have a team full of specialists. It's all platooning, and there's always like 3 hitters that are hitting 150, but hit homers against your team every time you watch. Like, it's the Rays. So go win a series, okay? Go win a series. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. We, of course, will be back on Monday recapping said series. A little bit of a longer show. I apologize for that, but it's a Friday, and we play 2 baseball games, so we'll allow it. All right? Peace and love. Going to therapy's dope. I'll catch you on Monday, baby. Go Tigers.